Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about the one single principle that powers pretty much everything. We're talking about the smartphone in your hand and the actual cells inside your body. It all comes down to the movement of one incredibly tiny particle.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with a simple battery to really get the core idea of electron affinity. Then we're going to split that reaction in two, figure out how to measure its power, and then, this is the cool part, connect that electrical power to biological energy. And finally, we'll see this whole system playing out inside you right now.
All right, first up, let's take a look at something we see every day and the invisible force that's making it all happen.
I know, it sounds like a trick question, doesn't it? But believe it or not, the answer for both is exactly the same. It's a constant, powerful, and very directed flow of electrons.
Okay, check this out. On the left, you've got a basic battery. A piece of metal, zinc, is just itching to give away its electrons. On the right, that complicated thing is just what happens when your body breaks down sugar from your food. They look totally different, right? But they're both running on the exact same engine. The simple, powerful urge for electrons to move from one place to another. The best way to picture this is like a game of tug-of-war, but for electrons. The force that's driving this whole thing is called the electromotive force, or EMF. It's basically a measurement of how badly one chemical wants to yank an electron away from another one.
And this picture shows what happens next. You see, once you give those electrons a path to follow, like a wire, they will just spontaneously start to flow. They'll move from the thing that wants them less to the thing that wants them more. And if we're smart about it, we can stick something like a light bulb or your phone's processor right in the middle of that path, and we can use that flow to get stuff done.
So here's where it gets really mind-blowing. This whole donor-acceptor setup, it's happening inside you too. In a battery, you have a source, like zinc, giving away electrons. In your body, the food you eat is the electron source. And in both cases, there's a final destination, a sink. For the battery, maybe it's copper. For us, it's the oxygen we're breathing in. Okay, so how does this electron handoff actually happen? To really wrap our heads around it, we've got to split the whole thing into its two key parts, the giving and the taking.
Right. These are called redox reactions. It's just a mashup of reduction and oxidation. And there's one golden rule you have to remember. You cannot have one without the other. They are literally two sides of the same coin. They always, and I mean always, happen together as a pair.
And because they're always paired up, we can look at any redox reaction by just splitting it into two half reactions. It's like perfect bookkeeping. One half shows the oxidation, who's losing the electron, and the other half shows the reduction, who's gaining that very same electron. No electron is ever lost.
And of course, we've got special names for these roles. The molecule that donates the electron, the one that gets oxidized, we call that the reducing agent.
And on the flip side, the molecule that accepts the electron, the one that gets reduced, we call that the oxidizing agent. Makes sense, right?
So, we've established this electron tug-of-war. But that begs the question, how do we know who's going to win? How can we actually measure and rank that pulling power? This was a huge puzzle for scientists. See, you can't just measure one chemical's desire for electrons in a vacuum. You can only measure the difference in that desire between two of them. So the challenge was, how do you create a universal scale that works for everything? The solution they came up with was honestly kind of genius. They decided they just needed a universal yardstick, a common reference point. So they created this, the standard hydrogen electrode. You can just think of it as the sea level of electrochemistry. It's the benchmark that every other reaction is measured against. And here's the kicker. They took that reference point, the hydrogen reaction, and they just decided to call its potential 0. Exactly 0.00 volts. It's not that it has no pulling power, it's just that everyone agreed, okay, this is our 0. That way, we can measure everything else as being either above or below it. And once you have that 0 point, you can build this, a power ranking chart. It's like a league table for electron affinity. Things with a big positive number are the heavyweight champions. They are fantastic at grabbing electrons. And things with a negative number, they're really generous. They're great at giving electrons away. Okay, get ready for this. This is where it all connects. We're about to take that electrical measurement, that number in volts, and link it directly to the actual energy that powers life. Here it is, the big aha moment. That difference in potential between the donor and the acceptor, it's not just some random number.
It is directly tied to the amount of real, usable energy, what biologists call free energy, that gets released when an electron makes that jump.
And this beautiful little equation is the bridge that connects those two worlds. It's basically a translator. It lets us take that electrical force, that voltage, and convert it directly into free energy, which is the literal currency of work inside a living cell.
And now, for the main event. Let's put all this together, the electron tug-of-war, the half reactions, the potentials, and see this entire incredible electron economy humming away inside one of your cells.
Okay, so your cells are smart. They don't just let these high-energy electrons from food fly around randomly. They have a delivery service. Molecules like NAD+ and FAD act like tiny rechargeable batteries or armored trucks. They pick up the high-energy electrons from where your food is broken down, and they shuttle them safely over to the cell's power plant.
And this is where they drop them off, the electron transport chain. This is the power plant. Think of it like a waterfall or a series of locks in a canal. As the electrons get passed down this chain of proteins, falling from a higher to a lower potential, they release a little packet of energy at each step, and the cell captures all that energy to make ATP, which is its main fuel.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning. At the very, very bottom of that waterfall, the thing that pulls the electrons through the entire chain is oxygen. It's the ultimate electron acceptor. It has the strongest pull of them all. So it really makes you think, what is breathing, really? Is it anything more than just connecting our own biology to the most powerful oxidizing agent around and plugging ourselves into the universe's ultimate power outlet? Now that's something to chew on.